Hello, Scorpio. Elsie here to do your reading for the week ahead. Hello, my lovely, watery psychic friends. How are you? Thank you so much for clicking here. I appreciate you oh so much. Thank you for all the attention on my last video. Y'all are doing such a great job with the thumbs up and getting this video out there back into the algorithm and building this tribe. So thank you very much for doing that. All right, we have a new deck alert. We're using a new deck today, a new Oracle deck. I love it because it's just one-worded prompts. As a channeler, I primarily channel my readings. That is good news for me because it doesn't sidetrack me. Do you know what I mean? I get one message from this word and I can go with it that way. It's called the Dream Ritual Oracle, and I love it. It has this really sweet sort of badass energy, which is appropriate for Scorpio, right? No matter how scary Scorpio might look on the surface, they're beautiful and lovely and kind and protective and psychic and emotional. I know it, but I won't share your secret. Shh. All right, you feel things deeply, and that's the truth of it, right? Scorpio, here we go. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. This is for the week ahead, my friend. And if you're cross-watching, thank you. This is always going to be for the week ahead, by the way, no matter when you find this. Always predictions. Tell me about Scorpio, please. Tell me about Scorpio from this beautiful deck, please. All right. All right. Well, this one's on top, so we'll take it. We'll put the rest back, because that's too many. And we'll start with forgive. So either you want to forgive someone, or you want to give, either you want to give forgiveness or you think you should receive it. What else do we have here with forgive? We have revisit. Interesting. It's almost like you want to speak to someone and give them forgiveness. Tell me more. The windows are open, by the way, so I've got the loudest bluebird around my house lately that keeps sitting on my balcony and looking me in the eye while it squawks at me. It's a blue jay, and I don't think I've seen a blue jay since I was a child. It's pretty wild. I don't know if you can hear it in the background. Anyways, here we go. Here we go. Blue is the throat chakra. That is ruled by Taurus. We have transition. Ooh, somebody's in transition of ego. Interesting. I like it. Something to do with your ego. What else do we have here for Scorpio? Illuminate and heal. Yes. We have receive, balance. I like it. So you know what? If you've been having a really rocky time lately, I feel like things in the week ahead are about to level themselves out for you. We do have a full moon coming up, right? It's the ending of things, the ending of cycles, ending of chapters. So I feel like you are going to receive some sort of a balance, and it feels like it's time. I always see this balance card as like the Wheel of Fortune. It's time for things to move forward here. As above, so below, right? There's a bed up there, and then we've got this other scene down below here. Fish, receiving abundance while you're sleeping. I believe it comes in dreams, my friend. I feel like you connect to another world or another realm, and you get some information that brings you balance. It's your intuition. The kois are here. The koi fish, yeah. They are hypnotic for me. I can sit and watch koi swim for hours in meditation. It's pretty wild. Remember. So you're remembering that you are a spiritual being, and you've come here in that meat suit. All it does is protects your spiritual being. There's no other way that we could survive in this world without having the meat suit that we wear, right? We're protecting our very vulnerable selves, which is the soul self. So I think that you're remembering that you have intuition. I feel like you're receiving some messages over the next little bit that are going to remind you of who you really are. That, you know, it's not all about TikTok and trends and money and buying things, consuming, and it's not all about that. It's not. It's about who you are spiritually and the lessons that you're here to learn. You're here to learn lessons for you. All the other stuff is out there to sidetrack you. Yep, pull you off the path. We have illuminate and heal. So I feel like you're learning some lessons, you're receiving, You're receiving while you're in this healing mode, I feel, that's bringing balance for you. Your intuition's about to be upgraded. It feels like you're getting a software upgrade over this full moon. I really have a hard time reading around the full moon energies because I usually have my software upgrades around then. The universe sends me information. I get a lot of downloads. I feel exhausted. So please, if you're feeling exhausted, lethargic, you feel like maybe you're off and on with cold symptoms, like one day you feel like you have a cold, the next day you don't. It could be allergies, but please look at ascension symptoms. Please, you'll probably see that a lot of the ascension symptoms are what you're going through right now. Could very well be that your system is being upgraded by the universe. All right, here we go. Let's look at tarot for you, Scorpio. Find out what's going on here. We've got revisit and forgive. Tell me what's going on here. It almost feels like you need to give somebody forgiveness for you. It's for you. Yeah, you feel like you're on an island. It almost feels like you're... Forgive, revisit. It's very interesting because one is being held up by the clouds and one is on top of the clouds. One is being pulled by the clouds and one is on the cloud. So I want to say that what you want to revisit is from the reason why you want to revisit, I feel, is because you are getting some sort of information from a higher source. It's telling you to revisit. House in the clouds. It's very interesting that both of these houses are around the clouds. Yeah, it feels like messages from heaven. Probably maybe from a family member. It could be that's a family home, or it looks to be. Tell me about forgive, please. For Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. Scorpio, if you are interested in a private read, please look in the description. I do have a sale on right now. It is 10% off of all of my services. So please look in the description. Look for the flowers. You need a code and a link to go over to Wizio. It's all there. Thank you. All right. We've got the Queen of Swords. Forgive. It's time to liberate yourself. It feels like you've been holding on to something or harboring something. And I feel like it's going to include either asking for forgiveness or giving someone else forgiveness. We've got revisit and we've got the Two of Wands. Interesting. Wow. Scorpio, it's very interesting energy because I feel like you're at the crossroads of your life and I feel like you're about to say something that either you're going to ask for forgiveness for or that you're going to ask forgiveness, you're going to give forgiveness. You're liberating yourself here. So it feels like you've been stuck somewhere where you felt that someone else was speaking for you, or maybe it was silent and no one was speaking. But I feel like this Queen of Swords, she's the one who speaks up finally for herself. She's the divorcee. I say she because there's a woman on the card, but this person no longer has anyone speaking for them. They've decided that they're going to speak up for themselves. That's what all the blue is about. Yes, she's a swords. Yes, it's kind of icy cold, but it's the blue ultimately is about the throat chakra. So it's about speaking up, saying something, liberating yourself. And I think you're about to revisit something. I think you're at the crossroads of your life and it feels like you are in need of asking for forgiveness or giving forgiveness. And it's both, or for reasons of you. Like it's not because you think someone else feels bad and you want to say sorry. That's not what this is. This is about alleviating whatever you've been carrying around. It's time for you to liberate yourself and say something that maybe other people didn't think you would say or someone else didn't think you would say. It's time to revisit it because you're at the crossroads of your life at this time. We have transition and ego. Y'all, this deck gives good energy. Maybe it's just because it's new, but it feels lovely. Tell me about the transition of this ego. You know, it feels like that. It feels like you're going back somewhere, back to the crossroads to take a different path. The transition is out of toxicity or out of fear, leaving fear. Oh, isn't that interesting? So the sun comes up and it's ego, but this is Leo. This is Leo energy, and Leo is kind of egoic. I mean, Leo is beautiful to look at. Leo is very, very much a go-getter. They live by fire. I'm going to get that whether you tell me I can have it or not. And the sun is here. And so I want to say that in this transformation or this transition that you're in with your ego, which I believe is you're in the midway probably of an ego death, is what I want to say, that you are going to realize that You've been living behind some sort of a mask. You aren't really allowing other people to see who you really are. But Scorpio, that is kind of a part of your energy, right? You're unlikely, and it doesn't mean that it's never going to happen, but most of you are unlikely to show that emotion on the surface to people who you don't really know that well. And even sometimes to people who you know really well, but I think that that's part of the ego. Look, you can transcend that, my friend. If you want to, you can transcend that. You can start being a little more awake, alive. You can decide that you're just going to let people see in the crystal clear light of day who you are exactly. You are magical. Yeah, she looks really magical. And this person looks unbothered. Like they're like, yeah, I'm in this big dress with this wreath on my head and I've got fire. Yeah, so what? My horse is cool. Like it feels like you should expect it. And it's a little bit of ego. But what I want to say is the part that's transitioning from the ego is this part here, the toxicity of it. Because understand that a little bit of ego takes us a long way. It's like we have to have a little bit of ego if we're going to ever take risks. You know, it's the belief in the self. I can do that. It's like taking risks, and it's a confidence sort of. But I want to say what the transition is that you're taking the toxicity out of the ego. So I'm going to win no matter what, or don't tell me I can't have that. It's almost like a cocky sort of energy. So I feel like your transition is out of the devil energy. It's out of being toxic about it. It's out of like crap talking other people. It's, telling other people that you're better than them. I feel like that's what you're transitioning out of. And I'm not saying that you're a person who does that all the time, but it might even be a thought and not necessarily something that you're saying to someone, right? You might just have disdain for someone who's not living the same lifestyle. That's ego. So we have the sun, and I feel like you're being illuminated in the middle of the week next week. It's a realization, it's a clarity or a clarification that it's okay to have a little bit of ego. I mean, we all do have that little bit of ego, but it's not okay to be toxic about it. It's not okay to be to tell other people that they're not good enough because they don't live in the same way you do. Maybe you're a health guru. Maybe you know 5 or 6 languages. Maybe you're someone who has 13 doctorates. But it's like you realize that you can't treat people less than just because they don't have the same type of ego that you do. I hope any of that's making sense. So we have Leo energy, we have Capricorn, we have Libra, Gemini, and Aquarius energy here so far. What's being illuminated here for Scorpio, please, in the week ahead? What is being illuminated for Scorpio? We have the 6 of Swords in the reverse. What's being illuminated for you, Scorpio, is that you were stuck here in the ego, being quiet, not telling people who you are, keeping people on the outside of your boundaries, and not just boundaries, but I feel like I see a white fence and everybody's on the outside and you're in this big space by yourself. It's like you don't really let people in. I feel as though this is like the illumination is you realize that this has got you stuck. How are you going to heal? How are you going to heal? We've got the Fool. You're going to disconnect and move on to a different chapter is what you're going to do. You're going to heal it. You're realizing it because it's been illuminated that you are stuck in some sort of chaotic place. I think it's here because we've got the sun and the devil. It's like the sun is illuminating all the things about you that you don't like about you. And I think that you are transitioning out of that devil energy. It feels like a realization that maybe the ego got a little bit toxic. So we have the 7 of Swords, and we have the King of Cups. Look in the future. What's being concealed from you is that there is love in the future. There is somebody who is like you, I feel, who probably is like you, probably someone who has what's being concealed from you, Scorpio, is the King of Swords. You are going to liberate yourself here, right? We're revisiting this 2 of Wands, wanting to take a different path. I feel that the person you want to liberate yourself with is this person here, but I want to say that this person is a soulmate. There is a conversation that's going to go on here. Look, I feel like the queen has the sword down, so I don't think that you have anything disparaging to say. I think it's all about being honest and it's all about being honest and not in a hurtful way. I feel like you are, this is what you're met with, Scorpio. I think what's being concealed from you is you don't realize that the person that you're going to liberate yourself to is also someone who is willing to be very honest with you. I think this is a soulmate connection. You two understand each other in swords. Like, it can be hard to be friends or a relationship in a family with someone who is completely in swords. This person is going to be honest and truthful, and they're not going to sugarcoat it. They're just going to say it as it is, factual, honest, and it might rub you the wrong way. You might be offended by it, but these two, they speak the same language. They don't offend each other. They don't get butthurt over what you said or what they said. What they do is instead clarify it. Is this what you're really saying? Because I'm feeling this way. Is this how I'm supposed to feel about your comment? These people are ones who get a lot of clarity from each other. So I think that you're going to liberate yourself by going back to the Two of Wands. You're going to revisit that. And it feels like there's going to be a conversation here, Scorpio, because I feel like what's being concealed from you is you don't realize that your person, the one that you're going to speak with, is somebody who is also in swords. They're going to speak in a manner that you understand. It feels like there was somebody who walked away from this connection. So you're revisiting a connection here. Somebody walked away from the connection emotionally, and it left us just with the swords. Do you understand? That's why we've got these two, right? It's like we kept the emotion out of it. We are just speaking in swords. We're not, and I feel like what's being concealed from you is that this person is going to give you a run for your money. I don't know if you think that it's really easy to speak with them, but I think that they got some things to say to you as well. All right. We've got Aries energy here now. Here we go. Let's look at some tarot. No. Let's look at some, yeah, we'll look at some tarot, but we'll do some clarifying. That's what we'll do. All right. Tell me about forgive. You might need to forgive this Queen of Swords. Maybe you are the Queen of Swords. Take it as it resonates. I know, you're a water sign. We don't see any cups here so far, but what I want to say is we do see swords. So I feel like there is going to be some sort of conversation that's coming up here as you revisit this. Tell me what's going on here for Scorpio in the week ahead, please. All right. We've got the Fool in reverse. We've got the Sun in reverse. And the Eight of Cups. So I'm going to say that something ended before it began, because there was no feeling here. I feel like you want to forgive yourself or forgive somebody else, or you want their forgiveness, but I feel like the Fool being in the reverse tells me that we took some sort of an impulsive decision, and it didn't work. It's like in the past, I ended up kind of like feeling like the Fool. The Sun is here in the reverse. Now, when the Sun is here, to me, it's always the comfortably polished rut, because the Sun is the Sun. Look, you're still warm. It's still good where you are. Things are, are lovely, in fact, where you are, but there's no growth here. And that's the truth of it. And a lot of people will live in their comfortably polished rut, never taking any sort of risk, and they're comfortable to be there. But what I want to say is that it's not a place of a place where your heart is full, because the Eight of Cups is here. So I think that your comfortably polished rut is just that. It's comfortable. I think it's time for you to revisit something that you pulled away from emotionally. But I also feel that you realize that the reason you have to revisit this and have the conversation with the King of Swords, I believe, is because there is, you're in the Eight of Cups, which isn't a bad place to be. I'm telling you, people can live in that Eight of Cups in the comfortable rut there for their whole lives and be okay with it. But I don't think you are. I don't think you are. The Eight of Cups is telling me that, yeah, eight is good, but I know that there's two other cups out there. I know I can be much happier than I am at this time if I just open this conversation. We have the The Four of Pentacles in the reverse. Yes, it's about being vulnerable now. So I think that the Queen of Swords is telling me you're going to be vulnerable, you're going to open, you're going to share, you're going to say something to someone here. All right, tell me about this transition of this ego, please. The ego is under the spotlight. You've realized it. You've realized that up till now you've been working behind a mask because you didn't want to get hurt. But I think you're going to be brave enough now to pull yourself out of that, because you're transitioning out of this devil energy into the sun in the upright, the place where of realizations, the place that you're learning, the place where you're spiritually, professionally, personally, you're growing in all aspects, because this person is magical on their horse, right? And I feel like you're about to just decide to just go for it. We have the Page of Pentacles in the reverse. We have the Page of Pentacles in the reverse, which tells me it's taken a very long time to get to this position, that you've been stuck in this energy for a long while, this toxic energy. And so that could mean maybe you have an addiction, or maybe you have fear that you don't move forward on things because of the fear. I feel like the sun is here to help you pull out of that. But, you know, that's why I say a little bit of ego is necessary. It's like the feeling of, I can do that. And maybe you can't, but you're trying to convince yourself that you can. It pulls you out of this toxic mud that you've been in for a while. You have unfinished business with somebody here, and it is somebody who is a friend that you're very attracted to, fiery about. The sun is here. Someone who's helped you through some growth, a friend who possibly has given you the ability to the bravery, because I feel like, you know, the person on the horse is very brave. It's like they've made you a little braver to actually look at the life that you've been living in, I think. And it doesn't have to be anything sinister, but I feel like that there is somebody who you already know, who you have unfinished business with. And I think that this transition that you're making with the ego, I feel is going to be something that you are learning from. It's like you need to learn the karma, but it feels like you need this friend to help you learn the karma. There's somebody here who's like at the beginning, who's the leader, somebody who's already been through it, who is going to be able to help you close the chapter of being stuck in toxicity. Who's this person? They could be a Leo. They could be Capricorn. We have the Six of Pentacles. So this is someone who has no issue giving you reciprocity. There's someone who's very confident. They're probably single. We've got 6 and 3, which is 9 Pentacles. Someone who's very confident in their life, someone who does very well, or you see them as that way. You see them as very abundant, someone who really doesn't need you or need anything in order to grow. This person has grown the 9 Pentacles all by themselves. They didn't need anybody else. So I think that this is someone who is possibly an expert at picking out their own flaws. I want to say that they know how to pick out their own flaws in order to overcome that stuff in the present moment, in order to keep moving. I think this is someone you already get reciprocity from. It's already someone that you know, but maybe someone who's very busy in their life and doesn't give you a lot of their time. The illumination is that you were stuck, right? You were stuck. I think you realize that it's time to move on here. It's time to move on past this ego stuff and heal, so you can have this new beginning. I think it's the last thing that's left. If you've been having a hard time and feeling stuck, because the World card does indicate that we haven't learned the lesson, the karma hasn't come. You know, it's like you're on the precipice of some sort of a breakthrough. And the breakthrough probably is, I'm stuck. I need to move, but I can't. We have the 5 of Swords in the reverse. I don't want to fight anymore. I don't want to fight it. I'm just going to allow the illumination. I just don't want to fight it anymore. We have the 10 of Pentacles in the reverse. And Ten of Pentacles in the reverse. And the Page of Cups. I feel as though the illumination, I feel like it's a realization that maybe you have been a little harsh with your words, right, in the past. And also that this Ten of Pentacles in the reverse, it feels like that being harsh with your words, saying things that align, just giving, just yelling at people. Like if somebody insults you or you see it as an insult. I mean, there's so many times on the internet that we can see that we watch videos of people who clearly just kind of fly off the handle. That's kind of what I feel like you were dealing with in the past, but I think it was because you were dealing with this coming out of this toxicity in the transition here. So I think that the Ten of Pentacles in the reverse is telling me that it's impacted your pentacles, that you don't want to fight anymore. You realize the impact it's making on your abundance. And I think this is a new idea for you. It's an idea of the Page of Cups. It's a surprising revelation in the illumination that you need to do better. You need to do better, and once you heal, you will. Look, I'm not saying that you did any of this with the intention of hurting anybody. What I'm saying is that this is sort of a process in your life right now where you're learning to be a little more vulnerable, where you're learning to speak and say the things that need to be said. But I think this particular situation, what's happening is that you are going to be speaking with someone that maybe you feel that, it almost feels like you feel you've left them behind, or maybe you made a decision to stay in your comfort zone rather than to grow. I think you're ready to grow now, and I think that's why this energy is here, about the transition through the ego. I think you're ready to grow, and you're ready to speak out about that, and I love that for you. It's all moving toward a new beginning here, my friend. The Fool. Tell me what's coming up here. We've got the Empress in reverse. We've got the Three of Cups in reverse. We've got the Moon. I feel like being stuck in the Six of Swords in the reverse is sort of lending to an energy of possibly, I feel like I'm not feeling the most abundant I could feel. I don't know my way through this. It feels like a scary beginning for you. The Moon is here. I don't know if I'm abundant enough. Like the Empress in reverse doesn't see their own worth. And what I want to say to you is you're the freaking Empress. You are masculine or feminine. You are abundant. You are connected. You are lovely and doting and kind and beautiful and creative and all of those things. But I don't think that you see it. I don't think that you see your own worth. I feel like the Fool is going to change that. Once you step out of this place of being stuck, there it is. I love it. I love it. I love it. We got the Seven of Pentacles. After a very long time, you finally make the decision. The Two of Swords is in the reverse. You take off the mask and you see things for what they are. I love it. And then we have the Devil and we have the King of Pentacles. So I feel like what you're doing here is you see the toxicity, right? And you decide to correct it. I'm just going to be a little better with my money, better with my balance. I'm going to be solid. I'm going to work at my pentacle world. I'm going to work at being a little more solid and dependable. Yeah. And I think that's what gives you the ability to be able to become this conversation, to be in this conversation with the King of Swords. I think it's a little bit of confidence that you needed here, and I think it comes with this stability. All right, I got to stop channeling here for you now, my friends. I feel like this stuff has not happened yet. I feel like you think I'm full of crap, and if you do, that's cool. That's all right, but I'm just going to say it is predictions. So this isn't something that's happening right now. It is probably in the week ahead, or you start feeling the rumblings of this in the week ahead. It's a change of mind. It's a transition through some poop soup here, some pretty crappy stuff. Yep, you're going to get the realization that it's not as bad as it is because you're in charge. You always have been. I'm going to go for now. Love you guys. I'm out. Bye-bye.